So this video is about cost of living in Canada in the year 2019, and this video is especially for the newcomers. So without further ado, let me start this video. Okay, so let's first of all talk about the key expenses. So the biggest expense is your house rent. So we'll talk about it. We'll also talk about the hydro bills. We'll also talk about the bills of your television and internet and your mobile bills as well. Your grocery shoppings, your transportation, and miscellaneous expenses like gym, probably some shopping or movies, entertainments have also been covered in this video. Okay, now before starting the list of the expenses, I have to tell you a few assumptions. City of stay. Obviously, the expenses actually differ from one city to the other, from one province to the other. So all the expenses that I've told in this video are in respect to Toronto and GTA region, which is Greater Toronto area. Okay, now the size of family. So, so in this video, I've covered all the expenses probably for a family of 1 to 3 people. Now it's very important to realize that each of us is different. We also hail from different places of the world. We have different eating tastes, we have different fashion senses, we have different habits. So it's very difficult to generalize things, but still I've tried to generalize a few of the expenses. You can always customize your expenses according to your own habits. Okay, now first of all, accommodation. So, so just a couple of days back, I uploaded a video where I gave the information about different types of houses in Canada. So in this video, I've given the rents for all of those different types of housing options. So first of all, you have paying guests. So for a paying guest, you might have to pay something like $500 to $800 in the GTA region. Mind it, I'm not talking about the downtown Toronto because it's very expensive. So I'm giving you the expenses of house rents in the GTA region. Now, share apartment or condominium, you would have to pay something like $700 to $1,100. For a basement apartment, you might have to pay something like $1,000 to $1,500. Now, for an apartment, you might have to pay something like $1,000 to $2,200. Now, this is very, a big difference which you see over here, because for $1,000, you might get something like a studio apartment. Now, if it gets, if it's a one bedroom, it would cost you something like 1,400. If it's like a two bedroom, it would cost you like 1,700, and so on. Okay, a condominium. So a condominium would cost you something like 1,500 to $2,500. A townhouse would cost you similar, it would probably be a bit cheaper when you go on the higher end. So it would cost you something like 1,500 to $2,000. A semi-detached house would cost you something like 1,800 to $2,500, and a detached house would cost you the most, that would be 2,000 to $3,500. Now, as I've told you, these are all Canadian dollars that I'm talking about, and of course, the rents actually differ from for the facilities that you are being provided with. It also differs with the location. If it's closer to the metro, then obviously it would be expensive, and if it is farther, it would be a bit cheaper. So all of these factors, actually decide the rents in the GTA region. Of course, if you're living in the downtown, then it would be even more expensive. So probably you can add like 200 to $300 in each of these rents if you're talking of downtown Toronto, because that part is obviously the most expensive one in Toronto. Okay, one point that I need to add over here is the rental insurance or the tenant insurance that we have to pay, and it generally starts from around $20 for one room place. It might go high up to around $60 or $70, and that is per month. Okay, now let's talk about the transportation. This is the official screenshot of TTC, which covers, probably the trams, the buses, the metro or train, everything is covered. So this is the screenshot from 2019. So over here you can find that the for a single ticket you have to pay around $325. That is $3.25. And for seniors and students, it's $2.10. However, you can take a weekly pass as well, which is 43.75 and 34.75 per person. And you can take a monthly pass as well, which is most economical if you have to travel to go for the interviews, if you have to travel to go and meet different people. In that case, you can take the monthly pass. You can travel as much as you want to, so there's no limit in the travel if you take a monthly pass or a weekly pass. So if you get a Presto card, then there's a little discount. You have to pay around $3. Okay, for children, there is a different fare which is also mentioned over here. Okay, now here I haven't covered if you're going to get a car, because it's for the newcomers, probably for all those people who'd be coming here for in initial months, and I would actually be covering it in a separate video altogether. Okay, now the utilities. Now utilities would include your mobile bill, your internet and TV bills, your electricity, gas, and water bills, which is also called hydro in Canada. Let's talk about all of them one by one. Now the mobile bill. So mobile bill actually differs from one company to the other. I found Chatter is among the cheapest ones in the Toronto GTA region. So you have to pay $35 per month for 1 GB of data and unlimited calling in Canada. You have to pay $50 per month for 8 GB of data, and it differs from one company to the other. For example, in Fido, you need to pay $60 for 4 GB. So it differs from one company to the other. For Rogers or for Bell, you even might to pay a bit higher. Now the internet bills. It becomes kind of essential for you if you're living in Canada to have internet, broadband internet in your home. So it is, it also differs from $55, $50, and they have different plans going up to $80, $90. So they had two screenshots for Fido and Rogers. Okay, now you also get bundled offers over there. So if you want to get a TV plus internet offer, this is the screenshot from Rogers, and this is again a screenshot from their website, official website in 2019. You would be getting something like $95 per month for TV plus internet. That's the basic payment that you need to pay. And after that, if you want to get a TV plus internet plus home phone, then you need to pay something like $105. You can go onto their website and check out the details, which all facilities will be provided if you get a home phone, if you get a TV, what all the details. I won't go into that at the moment. Electricity, gas, and water bills. For a 1 to 2 bedroom apartment or condominium, you would get a bill of something like $50 to $70. And for a 3 to 4 bedroom or maybe a semi-detached house or a detached house, you would get a bill of something around $70 to $100, or maybe for a detached house, you might get it for around $120. Now, this obviously depends on the consumption that you do, but generally, more or less, it stays around the same value. Now, the groceries. Now, this is one of the most difficult parts in this video for me, because it's very difficult to decide the grocery, how much one would consume in 1 week or 1 month. So I've tried to do it over here per person per week. So if your consumption is on the lower level, in that case, let's say you make homemade food and for around 6 days a week, then in that case you would spend something like $50 to $60, and that's per person per week. Let's say you go to a restaurant once a week, you would spend something like $15. It might differ from $10 to $20. Now, somebody who maybe spends more, who has higher consumption, you would probably spend something like $70 to $80. And if you go out for eating probably twice or thrice a week, then you would spend something like $30 to $50. Okay, Now the miscellaneous charges, something like gym memberships. So you would spend $40 to $60 in a gym membership. For a movie, you might have to spend something like $12 to $20. For shopping, it is obviously as per wish. You can shop whatever you want to and how much you want to. So I can't generalize it. And also for trips, if you want to go and move around Canada or maybe outside Canada, then it's quite difficult to judge that or to finalize that. So I haven't put any number next to these two. Now, if you're living in Canada, you might be quite habitual to drinking coffee. So in that case, if you do have that habit, you might spend something like $50 to $100 for a coffee, but I haven't included that here. Okay, now time for totaling. Again, all the same parameters: a house rent, a mobile bill, internet plus TV bill, your hydro bills, your groceries, transportation, and miscellaneous charges as well. So, if you are a single guy, in that case, you would spend something like $500 to $1,500. 500 if you get the rent as a paying guest, and 1,500 if you get a one bedroom apartment. It's very difficult to generalize again, but still. For a mobile bill, you would spend something like $40 to $80. For internet plus TV bundle package, you would spend like $80 to $190. For hydro bills, you would spend like $30 to $80. It depends on your consumption, obviously, so it's again difficult to finalize. Now, your groceries, you'd spend something like $200 to $600. For transportation, you'd spend like $100 to $150. If you get an Uber, then obviously you'd spend more. For miscellaneous expenses, I would assume you would spend something like $50 to $50. So on the left hand side, all of those expenses are mentioned if you're living there on a savings mode. But if you haven't activated your savings mode and you want to live pretty freely, you want to live a very easy life over there, you don't worry about your expenses, then probably the right column would be for you. So overall, if you have activated your savings mode, then you can spend life there in Toronto GTA region for $1,000. And if you want to live a very pretty good life without thinking about the money, you would spend something like $3,000, something between 2,700 to $3,000. Okay, now for somebody who's a couple, so in that case, your house rent would increase from $1,000 and it might go up to $2,500. It's your choice. So $1,000 for the basement and 2,500 probably for a semi-detached house or maybe a condominium. Now mobile bills would double, no, probably from $80 to $150. Internet plus TV would be the same. So 80 to 190. Hydro bills would increase slightly, so probably $50 to $100. Groceries would definitely increase, so you would need to pay something like $350 to $1,000. Obviously it depends from one's eating habits to the others. Now the transportation, you would spend like $200 to $300 because it would also double. And miscellaneous charges would also double, so something like $100 to $500. Obviously there's no limit in shopping and traveling around, so but I've tried to generalize again. So again, on the lower level, if you're activated your savings mode, you would spend something like $1,800 to $2,000 in the GTA region. However, if you are actually if you haven't activated your savings mode, then you would spend something like 4,700, 4,800, or maybe $5,000 while living in the GTA region. Now, if you have a kid as well, you're a family of three people. In that case, you would still live in the same home, right? So you would spend something like $1,000 to $2,500. Mobile charges would be this same. I haven't assumed that your kid would have a separate mobile. Now your internet charges would be the same. Your hydro charges would be the same. Your grocery bill would increase. So let's say 450 to 1,200. Uh, Again, an assumption here. Now your transportation would slightly increase. Then it would be like 250 to 400, and your miscellaneous charges would also increase from 150 to $700. So in a nutshell, if you're a family of three people and you've activated your savings mode, then you would spend something like $2,000. And if you want to live a very good free life without caring about the expenses, then you would spend something like $5,000 or maybe $5,200. Now, if you have a kid, there's very important thing that you should notice, that Canada Child Benefit. So you would get some money every month from the Canadian government as well. So probably, 300, $400 depending on different factors. I've got a video for that. I'll provide the link for that in the description box. You can check it out. But overall, the in a nutshell, it would be something like $2,000 to $5,000 for a family of three people. So this was it. I think that all of these details would help you somehow. It's statistics that have taken me a while to calculate, but I still hope that it would be helpful for you. I will make a separate video for all of those people who want to plan about getting a car in Canada, all of the expenses, how you can get it. It would be covered in a separate video altogether. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please click the like button if you think it was helpful for you, and share it with your friends if you think it can be helpful for your friends. And also subscribe my channel if you haven't subscribed it yet.